churches are going to be, if they're going to be as effective as they have proved to be on some other maps.
There's a couple of interesting spots that you can use mute jammers on this specific bomb site downstairs too, which block some of the important trapdoors. So while we've talked about it in the past and how the kitchen trapdoor here on this church bomb site is incredibly strong and important to hold, if it gets blown open, it gives a lot of power to the attacking team. Previously, you'd have a Pulse sitting underneath there, and he would be controlling it, C4ing it, shotgunning up through it.
Yep.
That's going to be a bit tougher, so we'll get to Pulse in a minute and see where he's going to be played. But if you just mute jam it, don't need to really pay so much attention to it. So we'll see when Mew puts those jammers. But let's talk a little bit about Pulse, because I know a lot of people are going to be asking, was he viable? Is he still viable? Is he going to be picked since getting nerfed so hard?
I think
right now on Xbox they're saying yes.
I think he is going to be viable. He's going to be picked often. He's not going to be that one showstopper that you're going to see every single time. But he is going to be very viable. The reduction on his device only got reduced by 4 meters, not 15. So it's still going to be useful, still going to give you a lot of intel. And he still has that C4, which a lot of the defenders like having.
So Tensora right now, notice how since the range increase has been put in on these jammers, don't have to put them directly in the middle of the doorways. That would allow them to get shot. Putting them nice tucked in around the corners, so first of all the drones can't see them until it's too late. Second of all, they can't shoot them without coming a long way down. And he's just basically blocked off the doorways more than he has actually anything else. He did use it on one reinforced wall of church, but that is it. And then he's come upstairs to play in a very aggressive position in which he's joined by Hopak.
And we are going to see Valkyrie going upstairs to the top of bar as Sledge pushes in from that stripper hallway.
And is lucky to walk away with his life. Tensora missing those shots very early on. Upstairs, Max has been taking that out in the lounge. They're playing a very aggressive defense here, our ePunks, all upstairs at the moment. They've lost 2 players, but they've taken 2 with them. They will lose a third, though, to Ash without getting any return this time around. Now suddenly, Hopak has to make his escape down those stairs and fall back into the bomb site. Brian is here with him, but they have lost 3 very important players. They did take down the Thermite. They can now hold these drop downs very easily because of it. Will it be enough?
Yeah, and I think it will be. I mean, the defenders left are Valkyrie, who has a lot of information for the team, as well as Rook, one of the heaviest armor individuals you'll see in the defensive team. So it's still not an attacker's guaranteed win here. They're still going to have to fight their way in the last half of the round here that we see going on.
So, as they do start to slow things down a little bit on their way in towards the site. They are now a little bit unsure about where these last 2 players can be, because that's what comes from that crazy aggressive start. It puts a little bit of uncertainty in the attacking team as they try and figure it out. So Stasio is droning down below, trying to find Brian, trying to find Hopak, see what it is waiting for them on the bottom side.
Yeah, and Ash is going to push down these main stairs. She's going to make a right here after she opens up this wall. Actually, she's probably going to open this up, run into the bottom of the kitchen, into that armory. That's one of the walls that you'll typically see reinforced by the defenders. Not going to happen, though. He rushes in, gets into the bomb site, and secures it. So now the last defenders are going to be inside of the church. Diffuser will get planted as Valkyrie's inside of the bar, going down the main stairs, possibly behind Buck, if Buck doesn't turn his head in time.
Buck is watching for him. He's very, very low health. She does Buck away as his grenades are finished off. Ash also took herself very low with her own breach charge on her way into Armory there. She's going to be finished off now by Valkyrie. Thanks to that, she is exposed, but Capital now down and frozen on one side. Buck gets an easy peek there onto Ash as she comes down. Valkyrie, she comes down the stairs, but Brian looking for Capital inside the Armory, just can't get the shot off above those little Armory boxes, and the first round will go over to Epsilon on attack.
Yeah, Stasio picking up that final headshot onto Rook, who we did say was one of those heaviest armor defenders that you'll have. Well, making it look easy. Making it look easy by taking them down. As we did see, Ash did get that diffuser planted. From that moment on, it was in the attacker's favor.
Epsilon then choosing their defense. Going through a couple of operators, still got time to go with. Tachanka is something we have seen on this map in the past.
I remember seeing Tachanka make an appearance on one of the first times Clubhouse was played during Season 1, and it was used to open up that wall between the stockroom and the bar in Clubhouse, which is on that main floor. But having him in the basement, I'm not quite sure what walls they're planning on opening up with him or where they're planning on stationing him. It might even be to open up the kitchen floor. That's a tactic I haven't seen, but I can definitely see his gun being used to open up as much of the kitchen floor as possible so that they'd have no option to open up that drop hatch.
Possibly so. We'll see as he's currently reinforcing and barbed wiring the front corridor before taking out a drone or 2 and heading back to join his squad. The other thing we've seen here is the blue wall to be opened up, so there is just nowhere for the attackers to push into and hide behind when they get inside that room. So We'll follow around and see where it goes. Upstairs, meanwhile, of course, the trapdoors are slowly but surely being reinforced by Starzio. They haven't done the blue dropper, which suggests to me that may be what they're looking to do. Nope. All right, he's going to use it to make the corridor a death trap.
And this is a long corridor, which is, with this being open, is going to force the attackers to head into the motorcycle drop hatch room on the other side of church. If they're planning on coming down the main stairs, they're going to be forced to come that way unless there's one defender left and he's stuck inside a church.
So, Tensaro going right up onto the roof of the cash room before making his way down. He's got drones swarming these floors for him and teammates checking and making sure it's clear before he heads his way down. And he will make his way on in. Meanwhile, the other 3-speed operator, who a lot of teams have said may just straight up replace Ash in some lineups, Capital, is also one of these players still outside and on the drone.
Yeah, and Capital's incendiary arrows are one of a kind, very powerful. As you had just said, some people are making the discussion, making the point that he's going to be the next Ash, and Ash will eventually be phased out from many strategies.
So he will blow open that unreinforced blue dropper with a grenade. And want to drone up this end himself. It looks like he is going to be a bit of a one-man army running around this end of the game. Checks what's down there waiting for him. Brian's also got his drone coming from this direction, so yeah, double checking it's all clear. Lots of drones swarming around the floor here from ePunks, really making sure they know where everyone is, which is right now all underneath the kitchen dropper. Hoppack going to go and blow open this construction tunnel, giving them that extra angle of threat now. When you know there's 3 players in armory, having someone come from the construction tunnel is actually not the strongest way to go. It becomes a very, very locked in path as Primal will take out the first kill there. On to Max as he comes down the front stairwell.
Yeah, we do have a 5-on-4 now with all the defenders on site on both bomb sites here. A minute 15 remaining. Blackbeard's going to push in, drop down through this hatch eventually. After he makes sure it's clear, he's going to be pushing his way into that armory.
There we go. Sefia is already down there, so they knew it was clear because of that, but he is now unsure about where he wants to go. He's going to make a breach hole in towards Church. He's got a good coverage because he's got a teammate in the bar dropper over there. You see Hoppack is in that corner, so now they've got good crossfire onto this, but he comes around the corner without his shield up, and Hoppack hits him straight in the head.
That team kill is going to be very drastic for the attackers. Down to a 4-on-3 now, 45 seconds. They are making a push down into the A bomb site, though. Smoke grenade will go off, and that's going to cause a little bit of havoc for Hoppack, but gives him enough shade to get in.
Hoppack hiding behind that smoke grenade to get a plant down himself. Smoke going to try and flank around and be taken out by Cypher's Capital arrow. Capital being dead doesn't matter, he'll do it from the grave, and that's when Saro comes in to try and cover the plant. He will get taken out from that breach hole that's been made as Hoppack is in there now all alone, but he does trade out as Starzio finishes him off as he finishes off Primal. And while he does want to revive Murak, he does not need to. He's going to head straight through for the defuse. And that will be round number 2 in the bag for Epsilon as well.
Epsilon coming out strong today, as we saw take it on the attack side and also holding off the defense and just dominating the first 2 rounds of this match.
I mean, there's a little bit of help there from ePunks and the team kill.
Yeah, not quite sure what happened there. I thought it was because Blackbeard wasn't ADS as he was peeking the corner. There might have been a guy at the mini bar, but after the smoke had dissipated, we saw that it was actually a team kill that happened.
Yeah, straight up. Hoppack did not expect to see someone peeking that corner, did not expect to see a Blackbeard peeking that corner, despite the fact that it was his teammate blowing the breach. I don't know what point he didn't stop and say, I'm breaching blue, but it scared him enough that he just pulled the trigger as soon as he saw a target, and yeah, not the right one this time. So, 2-0 up now, go Epsilon. Going to be happy with how things have kicked off here, no doubt about it. Can they continue the trade on through, though?
So here we go, Valkyrie with her Valkyrie cam, so those black eyes are going to be viable to the nth degree here as she places them in the correct locations. You saw one going into motorcycle room, you saw them at the bottom of those main stairs, and now you see her with the shotgun, which you did say that shotgun is balanced. It's not the fact that it'll never be seen. Valkyrie's still going to be viable to use that, especially in a map such as this where the church typically is a smaller bomb site than others you'll see in some other maps. So looking forward to seeing if that shotgun is going to be very useful for her here, which it should be.
Yeah, we'll see. And of course, ePunks last time around played a very aggressive top floor defense by leaving everyone upstairs. They are not going with that this time around. Bringing Hoppack down into blue. They've got a couple of other teammates in here as well. We'll rethink that camera placement, put it deeper inside the pit. but ultimately just run back and leave that to somebody else.
And so we are 15 seconds into the attack phase here. The attackers are now, oh, look at the C4, the pre-placed C4, waiting for the guys to enter in through the kitchen corridor. But first we're going to see a couple drones going up to the top floors, making sure it's all clear for the rest of the team.
Yeah, which is a quick realization here for Epsilon, as they are realizing most of it is empty. Yes, they were used to half expecting Epsilon, ePunks's crazy aggressive start again. They will realize fast that is not coming through.
Sledge better be careful here because that C4 is right under his feet, and there it's going to go. And Sledge does die by Valkyrie C4 pre-placed. Very nice placement there by Valkyrie.
Takes him out in the corridor, and now the rest of the Epsilon attack are being a little bit cautious about how far further forward they move. Make sure nothing else is there to surprise them. Make sure no one else is watching up through that hole. They will now realize it's there, and Stasio is going to start making his way down the staircase.
We do see Pulse in the kitchen, or underneath the kitchen, using his device, making sure it's going to be as effective as possible. Nade will destroy that C4 or will destroy that barbed wire from Capital. And Pulse is already making murder holes from the armory into that main corridor.
Keeping an eye on what's coming his way. Getting ready for when it's there. Ryan takes out the drone as it comes on down, but Stasio now knows to expect him in the doorway, very cautiously coming around the corner, pre-aiming the right spot, and now holding this pixel. Decay inside the bar, now that that drop has opened, is going to drone down through it, see what's waiting for him underneath and inside the church. And while Mater is the man that's coming from the pit of garage. He is right underneath that camera we saw getting placed earlier on.
Double thinking what he's going to do there, popping back out of that ladder down out of the garage hallway. 60 seconds left remaining in the round. A 5v4. The attackers are going to have to make a move here shortly if they want to get into the bomb site and get that diffuser planted. Buck is going to look through the murder hole he made through the floor. Does not catch anyone, just throws a couple of ghost shots, and will ultimately head down through the drop hatch into church here.
Capital, Stasio picks up first kill for his squad now. They take down that Jaeger as more shots coming out from Buck in towards church. We did get an aggressive Pulse peeking his way out in there, but it will work out for Mute instead. Tensara now picking up 2 kills inside the defensive blue. Stasio will return with 1, but is very, very low health in the corridor himself. Decay down at the far end of the stairs. They are just going to sit there and let Capital bleed out while they focus on this Buck at the far end. Now they're going to finish him off with ease. Decay takes down Hopback, but he tries to prone around the corner, and Tensara finishes off with a 4K to seal round number 3, but finally ePunks are on the board.
Yeah, and we saw Tanzanaro take those last 2 kills. Strong defense there. Came down to a 2v1 there towards the end, but Buck had, I believe, 10, 15 health left, and it was still Mute having the majority of his health remaining. So, very good play by the defensive there on that last round.
So, held it firm this time, didn't try anything crazy, just sat there and wait for the attackers to come their way, and the attack did not come in a particularly coordinated fashion for Epsilon. Allowing Tensaro to just flick back and forth between the 2 different pushes and pick up every single kill.
Yeah, and so we are going to see a Capcom make an appearance here for the first time on defense. And I think what this is going to be useful for is when the defensive does push that attack phase, makes them dwindle down as much time as possible with any lurkers potentially they may have. And then they're going to have to rush into rooms, whether that's through the doorway, whether that's through a window, and they're not going to have time to look for those Capcom traps. So I feel that's where he's going to be viable. If you can have a defense that forces the attackers to waste as much time as possible, so they have to make a quick push at the very end of the round.
So this surprises me a little bit. Bringing Impulse in on this bomb site is a bit of a surprise. Yes, the ump over the shotgun, no surprises there because the shotgun doesn't have the range it needs anymore to deal with this bomb site. But neither does Pulse's gadget. This bomb site is very big, very spread out. The attackers are going to do a lot of their focus from being either inside the strip club, outside in the car park through the bar window, or outside the kennels or construction through doorways and whatnot. They're not going to be coming close enough for that heartbeat sensor to really pick them up without them just straight up having shot Pulse when he walks towards them with that in front of his face.
Yeah, and as you said, that's definitely not going to be a very viable utility to have unless they're holding the stripper, which they are right now. So we're going to see Bandit and Pulse both holding the stripper room here. Blackbeard crouching and making his way in. Pulse's device does not catch him. Oh, there it goes. Does catch him here. And you're probably going to see him rush around the corner. A couple ghost shots through the wall just to scare him off, but Blackbeard has already made his way to the door, does peek in, and will get Pulse down without any kind of fuss.
Yeah, and I've never seen anyone successfully hold strip club for this way too. Now they've lost the bandit as well. They also lost Capcan elsewhere, and suddenly it's a 2v4 defense now for Epsilon. Takei is looking to go aggressively into the strip club. He does get Brian down, despite that being a very strong position for Blackbeard and Armorok. Takes Tensara on the other side of the site, making it a 2v2, and suddenly this is looking back into the realm of possibility here for Epsilon. Cypher is outside the front now in the car park, heading towards the pool table, but looking for Armorok inside that storage room. Hopback, having control of the strip club, is going to finally start to blow his way into the pool table himself.
Yeah, and this is where I would expect to see the defenders start to realize, okay, they're going to be pushing pool, they're going to be pushing from the stripper side. It doesn't make sense for the attackers to be split up in this scenario. So let's turn around. We know where Thermite is. Definitely, that's where his Thermite charge just went off. So let's get there, realign ourselves, readjust ourselves to be for this push that's going to be coming in the next 60 seconds.
Yeah, and that's where they are now. One behind the bomb and one here by the kitchen stairs. Armorok now realizing that he can hear the wall being cracked open behind him because Cypher is thinking about heading this way. Not the man with the diffuser. He is going to be able to come in and flank behind Armorok here. So Armorok's ready for it. Meanwhile, Hopback is looking to go around and potentially join him. Maybe they are going to go switch it up for that B push. They made noise over here at A. They've pulled the defense away. They pulled them over towards that strip club. And now they're going to try and use this hole that Cypher has made to get in, through, and push onto the B-bomb site, while Epsilon are focusing all attention at the other end. There we go. He sees the rook around the corner. Does get the quick headshot. Now he knows the last man is out there in this stairwell. So he's keeping his eye on the door. Picks it up with the camera and then goes to the reload. Meanwhile, Hopback is getting the safe route in towards the backside. Does catch that Capcan trap. Gets on into the plant position, and now we're getting it underway. Cypher edging safely around the corner. Doesn't quite catch Takei. He's got his bolt out though. Shoots it at his feet, but it's not going to matter. Takei kills him as soon as it fires. Now it's a 1v1, but Hopback is safely outside again. Takei spraying every little spot inside the site that he could be, but Hopback is running all the way around towards Garage. Going to take the camera out. Okay, here's that. He actually can go for the full defuse here. It is 7 seconds. If he's still confident he's inside, he will try it. He's not. Hopback is out, but he pushes for him. Takei with a quick headshot has now got all the time in the world to hold this defuse.
Not quite sure what Thermite was thinking there. He went all the way into garage, realized it was barricaded off, ran all the way back to the bomb site when really all he needed to do was just rappel up above that door, and it would have been his for the taking.
I see the nice plan. The idea of going all the way around towards Garage and coming back behind.
Would have been very
reinforcement
good.
there.
Yes. If that door wasn't reinforced, if he would have had direct line of sight from that doorway into the bomb site, it would have been spectacular. Would have been a great spot to hold. But the defensive barricaded that door. They didn't cam that out and understand that that's what the situation lied ahead for him. So that unfortunately for the attackers, it cost them that. That rotation from Thermite there cost the match, or cost the round.
Yeah, he had a nice idea, but having to shoot the camera and give his position away, realizing it's not reinforced, not there. Need to make sure you have all the information before you make such a play. We do lose a player from each team, followed quickly by a third from ePunks. And as I'm sure the world is known for, that's going to require a rehost on the lobby. So, while the scoreline is nicely wrapped up at 3-1 in favor of Epsilon, we will of course back on and out, reset it up, get the players back in the lobby. ePunks might be a slight little respite here, something to just sit back and rethink and think, all right, we're down 3 rounds to run, but we're definitely not out of the running here. They've got a chance if they overlook it.
Yeah, I think what they can see now is kind of how the other team has played against them, how the attack phases have gone, how the defensive phases have gone, and realizing that it's not your typical gameplay. I mean, I think on Clubhouse, the first round, the defenders had 2 or 3 lurkers upstairs. Not even lurkers, just straight out, we're going to hold off that attack. And ultimately, I don't think the attackers are ready for that kind of that kind of resilience, that kind of forceful feedback or pushback that they received. And so now it's going to give them a chance to say, okay, if this happens again, how are we going to address that? How are we going to handle a situation where we aren't expecting that? So knowing that bomb sites can now be on the bottom floor again, it's basically starting back 0-0. And so that's where they're going to have to think, okay, this is how it was handled last time, but it's going to have to change. We're going to have to change it up, have some people go in a different corridor, possibly push that construction hallway that we saw Thermite blow but didn't actually utilize. So it's going to be very, very different, I'm hoping, for what we've seen in the first 4 rounds. But again, don't count any of the teams out.
Yeah, so we'll see whether or not that does come into their consideration as they start to funnel their way back into the lobby. Not on Presidential Plane. There we go. Back in the clubhouse. The score will, of course, stay 3-1. And let's run down it quickly in case anyone wasn't here from last season, doesn't remember last season. The rule still states that we will only remake the lobby for a maximum of 3 times per team before disconnects start to include round forfeits.
Yeah, and so the biggest reason for that is we want to get you guys the gameplay. And we have a time limit to stick to, and that's what it just technically has to be. That's in the rules. So we're hoping that it doesn't get to that.
Yeah. There's also a lot of new rules, a lot of new changes in this Season 3 rulebook, which are a lot stricter and the dealing with and the punishments that come with such disconnects and connection issues and whatever the hell it may be. So a lot of the teams are going to hopefully behave a little bit different this year, but things should be a little bit more under control as we do wait for them to funnel on back in. Everyone from ePunks is there and will quickly be joined by Epsilon, hopefully, and it was nothing too serious. But while we do wait for those players to come back in, we will run to a short 2-minute break so that they can fill their way back in and refresh themselves. And we will see you just there on the other side of it with the culmination of map number 1, Clubhouse, between Epsilon and ePunks.
Yes. Stick around.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have 1 player left to rejoin and then we're good to go. Run down quickly on what happened before the short break is that Epsilon are up 3-1. We saw a novel, new attempt at defending the clubhouse here from ePunks on round number 1, leaving all 5 players on the floors above the bomb site, taking the basement, playing the floor above, trying to catch many members of Epsilon surprised. They killed 2 of them, but lost 3 players, and then were left in a very sticky position trying to defend downstairs.
They were left with Rook and Valk down in the church, and I believe Valk actually came up from the garage hallway, tried to flank, but Buck was there and killed her. She didn't make it down into the site, and what we saw there was some great gameplay by the attackers. So, but moving on to the rest of Clubhouse, I believe starting this back up, we are on. Epsilon will not be able to choose the bomb or the bar site. They're going to have to go either to the top 2 bomb sites or they're going to have to go to the bottom. But let's look at some of the highlights here as they continue on your screen.
Yeah, a couple of nice spots. Unfortunate little team kill there on the screen for Hoppack. Would have been, to be fair, I think a round in the bag for ePunks if he hadn't accidentally shot that. Blackbeard, they had a great position coming from blue and from the bar dropper, covering that basement perfectly. The 2 of them would have had that nice coverage on Church. But in accidentally team killing his Blackbeard, that lost a lot of positioning, and here is that final kill there for that last round to make it 3-1. Hopback went for a smart play, went for a plant, went for a full rotated round, thought he could come in from the garage, surprise the Jaegers he's pushing and checking the diffuser or whatnot. walls are reinforced, and suddenly realizes he has to get back outside, sprint to the bomb site, and walk straight into Jaeger's pre-aimed crosshairs.
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of failure for his time management skills. If you would have seen Thermite running around, Thermite wasn't paying attention to, oh, Jaeger might be there peeking. He was already anticipating Jaeger down diffusing or destroying the diffuser. So with that kind of lack of time management, that lack of time awareness, that allowed for Thermite to be caught off guard by Jaeger saying, hey, I don't need to go for the diffuser yet. I know you're probably right around the corner. And that's what got the win. So without any further ado, I think we are ready to start this up.
We are. We have all 10 players back in the game, and they are loading in and picking their operators. So let's continue with this map number 1. The map number 2, bearing in mind, those of you that weren't here earlier on, is going to be Oregon. So when we do finish this one out, we're going to head over into that map and see where things go. But it's a map which is not too different from Clubhouse these days.
Correct. And so we are going to see the defenders being ePunks picking the bar and stock room, which they are allowed to pick again. They did lose this the last time. So we are going to see this again at the top on the main bar floor.
So
just need to wait for all those Xboxes to load on in. You can see them at the top of your screen there, just the little spinning arms.
It amuses me that they can all load at different times. You're all running exactly the same hardware. But hey ho, in they go.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So, ePunks' attempt to hold the bar. Now, Epsilon could not successfully hold it themselves when they did it, because they put themselves in a very aggressive strip club hold, and then very quickly lost control of the strip club.
Correct. And so what we're going to see here, we're going to see ePunks max, I think this is, it's going to be reinforcing that pool wall, that stripper wall, making sure that, hey, they're probably going to get into the stripper, but it's not going to have an easy way into the pool, into the bomb site. I'd be hard-pressed to see the defensive team hold stripper. We saw what happened last time. We know it's not a very strong
Attackers have located a bomb.
But we do see Max taking a peek, trying to see if there's any drones around here. So it makes me think he is going to be situated in this room for at least the beginning of it.
Yeah, at least just grab himself a couple of quick early bits of damage, maybe the occasional drone. He does find that one and realize he has to make a move out quickly. He's got Hoppack in here with him. So it does look like ePunks are going to try and hold this again as well.
We do have Takei, who's outside by the kennel, or not the kennels, the outside spawn by the stripper. And drone does spot Pulse there, and Pulse is going to rotate back inside with Valkyrie. Does get droned out of there. Sledge and Ash outside by the camera placement on right there where Pulse is shooting. Buck's going to rappel up to the top. Now there is a drop hatch right near Pulse, right above him in that corner. You see 3 of the attackers pushing in, forcing Pulse to retreat back into Stripper.
All coming from this one corridor, though, does open themselves up to a nasty C4 when they're coming this way, or something else coming out of this Pulse, just lining up for his ump. So they do now have to back away. They've used up both Capital bolts, so this is already a big, strong spot here for Max. Using up the Thermite charge now on the outer wall, and he comes around to this extra side. Buck will start punching the door open, and now he's so incredibly pinned in this room. If he can take one with him now, it's the best he can hope for here. He is definitely dead. Does walk across in front of the door, sees Buck outside, does take Buck down with him. Ash is behind him, and he's going to take her low, but ultimately will finally go down. But that is very much a win. Thermite charge, 2 Capital bolts, killing the Buck. But it all goes horribly wrong when Capital immediately trades out Hoppack, and it makes it a 4 versus 3 now.
So that is what we saw. Pulse misspoke on my part. I misspoke on Pulse's part there. He was able to hold that very nicely for the fact that he took a minute off the clock, almost a minute and a half off the clock, forced Thermite to utilize a breach charge. As you just said, Capital used both of his incendiary arrows. He doesn't even have any smoke arrows left. And it looks as though the push will come from above bar and inside of that pool room.
Ash is also low health because of it. He's using his breach charges here on the floor below. Crack open a couple of pre-planned, thought-out spots. Looking for the defenders down there below and underneath by the bar. They aren't quite there, but he's about to see Tansaro. Does see each other. Tansaro doesn't take too much of a serious damage spot there, but Stasio takes absolutely nothing in return. He can now blow open the bar dropper on top of this pool table, and that's going to open up a potential here for a plan on this A bomb site here for Epsilon. They've only got 30 seconds on the clock though, so they got to do it pretty quickly, whatever it is they're going to go for. Meanwhile, downstairs, Amarok gets the kill onto Cypher as he now follows in Capital with the plant. He's going to drop on down. There is one over by the kitchen stairs. Sansaro's nades are raining in. If It's going to be on Rook to stop the plant, if anyone, and he cannot make it happen. So Capital now tucked in the corner, gets the plant down, and is now watching across the other side of the bar to where Tansaro is very much pinned. That is a nice easy kill. Capital has done some serious work this round before. Primal gets the killing blow on Tansaro, and Epsilon go up 4 rounds to 1.
Yeah, so as you saw there, Primal picking up that final kill. Great job. The attackers, once they took over Stripper, they took over the top floor. You saw Ash utilizing those breach charges to open as much of the floor as possible, taking away those critical angles that the defenders have to hold if they want to maintain eyesight on that pool table. That pool table is going to be one of the most endearing spots that the attackers will try to plant that diffuser at. And what you saw there was great gameplay, great methodical breach placement from Ash. You can tell she's gone through the map, she's understood where she needs to blow those, and it took away those angles that the defense needed to have in order to hold that location.
Now, we are back down into the basement for Epsilon's defense now that they have successfully held up floor above, and this is the only round they need now to lock this map out. It is currently 4 rounds to 1 thanks to the remakes and the new score lines, and here we have what could be their final spot. We have, of course, brought themselves a Tachanka back into the mix again. They use this to make that corridor a complete kill corridor. Walk hole before.
Tachanka might have to get some better aim here if he can't get this drone. Maybe pull out that turret to kill the drone. Doesn't actually nick his own teammate though. Smoke goes down, has about 80 health left after that shot from Tachanka, unfortunately.
Takes the pistol to the side. It's going to be okay in the grand scheme of things, but now we'll make a couple of holes in towards the trapdoor kitchen so they can hear thermocharges from when they're coming through that way. And now Armorok is going to sit here and make these holes in the walls. Smoke still cautious about being shot once, but he'll go prone underneath him and make sure he doesn't get shot up through that a second time while making these holes. Sazio back now here on Pulse, also making a couple more holes himself at the floor level before still sitting underneath this kitchen dropper and checking what's going to be above him with the heartbeat sensor.
Yeah, and so we are going to have a 5-man defense on site here. And with 30 seconds into the round, the attackers are already making their way through bar, droning out the top of the whole entire house site, making sure that, hey, it's all clear, there aren't any lurkers, and we're going to see some action here in the next 45 seconds as the attackers start moving in and clearing out as much as possible.
So, Pantara coming in on the floor above, Slifer now doing the corridor from garage. Max's drone's already coming through the barbed wire right at the front entrance of the main stairwell. As Brian is now also droning in through the pit, through the blue, and will come in from garage shortly after. Blackbeard push from that direction can be very, very powerful if he gets into the right places. More importantly, if he gets all the way into Armory, he comes damn nigh on unkillable.
Yeah, what I don't actually see right now, maybe it's just because he's ADS, is his shield up?
Nope.
He doesn't have the shield up right now, and I'm not quite sure if that's just so he can have higher mobility, but once he drops in here and he starts peeking angles, he should be having that shield up.
There it is. So now that they're in the blue and he's starting to peek his way out, he is keeping himself cautious. Meanwhile, Tachanka has picked up kill number 1. He takes down Max, and that was Sledge as he tries to peek aggressively. Will now be droned out by Capital inside blue and has killed him off. Thermite is blowing his way in towards Church though. Dance back across the gap again without Armorok touching him. Now he's still cautious of what's coming from behind, but with this wall blown open, Hopak does have a nice angle into the church once more, but is currently being smoked off aggressively by Prime.
Right now we've got Capital and Blackbeard pushing in from the back of church into that blue hallway. Rook about to get a peek on him from the doorway, and his way is positioned by firing off a couple ghost shots. That's not going to do any damage to Capital though. Blackbeard looking into church. We do see smoke tucked away in the mini bar of church. And that's where he's going to be sitting because he is trapped right now, trapped in the corner. Tachanka inside of church as well, possibly that hallway. And Brian picks up that kill onto Rook as Tansaro picks up the kill, making it 3-on-2 right now. Tachanka gets killed by Thermite. I'm sorry, not Thermite, by Ash. And Blackbeard picks up that final kill.
ePunks with a successful attack, just chipping away at each member of Epsilon. Despite going down a man, they'd find each spot and then just take them out one by one until someone else would reveal them. And they could easily chip away at their attack as they came on down. Blackbeard in through the blue tunnel with Capital. Yes, Capital falls, but the Rook was immediately traded out afterwards again. They then had that hole into blue, from blue into church again, thanks to a nice big breach charge, and this time no team kill. They had that great crossfire.
Yep, and ePunks is saying that we're not ready to be done yet. We're still coming back to fight. It may be 4-2, but we're still in it to win it. and there's still another map after this one.
So 4 rounds to 2, and now it's time for ePunks to go back onto the defense, and they can again go downstairs themselves. Hotpack is bringing that shotgun Valkyrie to the table. He tried it before and didn't really have much of an effect, but he might have a better chance this time around. Mainly though, it was that pre-placed C4 and the camera that allowed him to use it that really made it stick home.
And as we saw, that was basically just one sledge hole he could make, and Sledge went down right after that kill. So Hotpack gonna reinforce the drop hatch above, or sorry, the drop hatch in stockroom above that garage hallway. And so now, again, with that shotgun, she's gonna be rotating around into the bar.
Camera feed up and running.
Throws that cam onto the jukebox, which to me is a little odd, for the simple fact that many teams, when they hear that jukebox music, they're gonna shoot right at that cam. So having that cam there is not gonna be too effective in my eyes, but we're gonna stick by and see if that's gonna be useful for the defenders here.
So she is putting that C4 in the same place again. I'd be intrigued to see if Sledge actually falls for it, or anyone falls for it a second time. It's the sort of thing you should be on point and remembering from where they were before.
But with no Thatcher and no Twitch, how are you going to handle that? It's going to be very hard for the attackers, if they realize it's there, to move across it, unless they're going to just take that risk, take that chance.
So the person to move across it would be your Ash or your Capital, right?
Yep.
They've got the speed, they can run across that before she can get off her cameras. It's not actually directly at the top of the stairwell either. It's a little bit further towards the kitchen doorway. So they can get down, they can get in the corridor, and then they can straight up shoot the C4 from below. Or at the very least, by sprinting over it and making her try and blow them up, they can just make her waste it because they are too far away. So there are ways around it. It is not ideal. Nothing's great, of course, but you can get the job done. Or, and the other option, which is the far safer, but again, potentially far longer way, straight up kill the camera.
Yeah, and that C4 does get blown, and that's going to be a missed C4. Sledge now down at the bottom.
I think it was grenaded.
Stairs.
Yeah, it was grenaded to stop it, and there was her trying to blow it, but it was destroyed by the grenades. That was the other way to stop it.
Oh, and Hotpack getting blinded by the stun grenade. Not going to do too much damage to her, though. Destroys the barbed wire, but also kills his own drone. Second, he goes in from the motorcycle drop hatch into church. Doesn't get any kind of kills. And we are down to 5-on-5 still with a minute 20 left remaining. Two of the attackers down at the bottom of those main stairs. It's going to be Ash and Capital. Sledge and Capital rotating back upstairs, and Thermite coming in from that cave hall does expose himself, and Jaeger is there to pick up the kill onto Thermite. Now it's a 5-on-4, just 60 seconds left to go in the round. The attackers are going to have to make a push here without their key player Thermite.
Cypher, I mean, the key player Thermite has done his job, right? He's used his Thermite charges, he's not needed anymore, so that is not the end of the world. But with Max now going down, Max picking up a kill now as well, Cypher is starting to get aggressive up the back end, make sure no one else is coming through that tunnel. He now realizes that's not going to happen, can go back and join his team. Maita coming down the front corridor, is tagging some shots off towards Brian, but not really landing anything, taking more damage than he's putting out. Armrock's there with him, but they're having a tough time getting in. They're going to try and breach the hole in towards B and make that push in. Here he goes, but there's two people waiting for him. Gets Cypher. Can he get the man down in the corner? He gets him two. Two quick kills for Maita. 27 seconds. They're going to keep this pressure up. Tansaro went big last time around. He's at the back of the armory. Brian's on top of him. They don't want a team kill, but they do it. Brian takes Tansaro down, and the plant is in. Brian has finished his Armrock off to redeem himself, but it is still now a 2v2. Brian's pushing in, crouch walking his way through, but stands up right into the crosshairs of Ash, but gets the kill all the same. Takei now all alone, walks straight up to Hotpack's shotgun, and at that range, post-nerf, doesn't matter. Hotpack gets the kill, and ePunks are closing the gap once more.
Yeah, unfortunately for Epsilon, they still are going to have to fight their way to win. ePunks, again, not going down without a fight. They were up there towards the end. Ash came in, knocked out two of them, just annihilating those two in the armory, but Mute and Rook were able to hold it off. Rook came back in, Valkyrie came in from behind, got Buck, and there you saw it, ePunks taking on that win 4-3 right now.
So, here we go again, as the round becomes 4-3. Epsilon, unless they want another overtime situation, which will require a remake again, they need to successfully hold the church. ePunks on attack last time around did a great job. Cypher's Capital really making his mark there as well. And Hotpack, more importantly, not team killing Brian. But their push came in from blue. They've used their breach charge in towards the blue towards church, and they had that good crossfire on through. And they used that to their strength, got themselves into the plant spots, and really
Attackers have
made it
been
work.
eliminated.
But they're now going to have a couple of extra moments to rethink it all over again as ePunks lose one of their players, and of course that will require us to back on out. If we do go to overtime, if ePunks win this round, we go to 4-4. That will require another remake, so that will be that. But until then, we'll obviously remake this game, get all of ePunks back in the lobby. Hopefully we can sit out on through, as the scoreline is 4 rounds to 3.
Yes, 4-3 right now. But technically, if ePunks wins, they're attacking this round. If they win, all the bomb sites are still available, so we might not have to, in fact, remake the lobby, which I'm sure everyone would be pleased about, because all the bomb sites are still available for an overtime round. But nonetheless, guys, this has been a great matchup. Still 4-3. ePunks not going down without a fight. Epsilon had that 3-1 lead, 4-1 lead, 4-1 lead. They won that first round after the remake. 4-1, still ready to take on the win for this first match. But unfortunately, ePunks is not going down without a fight.
No, they're really pushing for it. So we do now get the players slowly coming back into the lobby. And we'll, of course, have our admins confirm that we might not need to remake should we go to overtime, because you're right, all of those bomb sets will remain unlocked. Now, that has to be communicated to the teams, because here's the problem, is they've had it in their head for the whole of last season that overtime means a remake.
Yep.
Players aren't known for using their head in this kind of situation, very much like I did and just presumed it would be an overtime, a remake. So they might need to be poked about that. But we
might have to,
we could save some time
give
with
them
that.
a little nudge. Say, hey guys, let's stay in lobby, let's get this round over with and head on into the second matchup, which is going to be on Oregon, correct?
Yes, it will be. But, I mean, the second matchup is going to require a remake.
Yes.
Even if we don't for the overtime. But either way, that's all there. On another note, a little bit more cheery, a little bit less disconnected, a little bit less dreary. The Season 3 Pro League skins have been announced.
Oh, this is news to me.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm going to double check here exactly who they are for, so I don't get this horribly wrong in front of everybody. But they are for Twitch, Fuse, Thatcher, and Jaeger.
Ooh, Fuse and Twitch. Those are some of my two favorite operators. Looking forward to seeing what the skins are going to look like.
Yeah, well, I'll show you right there. There you go.
There
That's
it
what
is.
they're going to look like
There
on
it
his
is, guys.
screen. But they are pretty damn shiny and new. They are very similar to the Season 2 ones on the surface, but they are pretty. And I like
they are
them.
gold and shiny, and
Yeah.
I welcome them into my arsenal of clothing to wear.
Something that I know a lot of players are asking for, a lot of fans are asking for, is that the Pro League skins come out earlier in the season. Week damn 1. Is that early enough for you? Right there. So they're all here. You can go, of course, and buy those same way you can. Either check the stores, check the pages, and they will show up soon enough, no doubt. But those are your skins. Once again, to recap, Thatcher, Twitch, Fuse, and Jaeger are those 4 Season 3 Pro League skins.
Yeah, so looking forward to those. But back to the gameplay. We are waiting on 2 more individuals from each of the teams here. It's 3-on-3 in the lobby right now. But some of the gameplay that I saw in the last round there, I liked how the attackers in that very last round, Ash, I believe it was Ash and Buck, and I think there was a third operator, possibly just those last 2. They didn't go down without a fight. They went in, they breached into, using Ash's charge, they got into the arsenal room. We're able to pick off, I believe that was Smoke and Pulse in the arsenal underneath the kitchen drop hatch. And you saw it come down to a 3-on-2. That team kill made it a 2-on-2, but ultimately you saw Rook take the kill on Ash, and Valkyrie came up from behind, picked up that kill onto Buck. So it's might seem one-sided at times, one way or another, but you can always count on these Pro League teams to not go down and to come back and keep a match strong, regardless what the odds are.
So the other thing I need to note here, because of course you mentioned it's ePunks on attack. Their attacks in the basement have worked twice now, but they've always been the same. It's been a Blackbeard and someone comes in through blue.
Yep.
They breach that one wall that's not reinforced by Epsilon, and then they drop from the bar dropper, and they come in from one either end. They sweep that out. They've also then thermated the other side, and they can come and plant behind the bar desk.
Yeah.
All it's going to take to stop that is one reinforcement from Epsilon on the blue side, so they reinforce
They need
the
to
whole
reinforce all
wall
3
instead
walls,
of just 2, and then that suddenly throws ePunks off. How do they then readjust their attack to make that work?
So I think once they secure that blue hallway, the generator room at the bottom of garage, they're going to have to push a thermite down there, open up that drop hatch. If they still want to utilize that same tactic, they still want to have their same angles, that same entry point, they're going to have to utilize the thermite to open that up. Then they're going to have to somehow get into motorcycle room without blowing that drop hatch, which is going to be very hard. That motorcycle drop hatch is a key hatch to hold so you can get into that main hall. Once they can get into that main hall, thermite's going to have to open up that wall into the mini bar. But even if they don't do that, if they open up that motorcycle drop hatch, they get into that small motorcycle room right outside of church, you can still pinch from that angle, make sure you're not going to get flanked, and you can push the defenders out of church and into that arsenal room. So it's still viable, but they're going to have to waste a lot of time utilizing Thermite, rotating him around to garage, that hallway, blowing that wall open, and then coming back around to open up either the minibar, the drop hatch, or the minibar wall by church.
So, as all 10 players back in the lobby, we will find out exactly how they do it and what they do, because we are loading back on in to this game. Epsilon versus ePunks, currently 4 rounds to 3 in favor of Epsilon, and we are talking right now about this ePunks attack and what's coming Epsilon's way. Epsilon just have to hold on, and that will be map number 1 in the books for them. Bearing in mind they were the undefeated team last season, so losing their very first map here to ePunks would be catastrophic. Yes, they had some draws last season, but still, losing a map in game number 1, despite being the top team for season 2.
Yeah, Tachanka making an appearance here for Epsilon once again. Tachanka and Pulse, I think this might be a good combo here, for the simple fact that if they decide to have Tachanka sit on his turret in some part of the arsenal room or even inside a church, he'll get that information from Pulse should he still be alive. So might see a little bit of a wall bang here from Tachanka potentially, but nonetheless Epsilon is going to have to put on their A game here because ePunks is ready for this fight.
So they are running the same defenders here for Epsilon. They are still happy with their Tachanka, making the holes in the wall that he did. Can they actually make it stick this time? They are starting the reinforcements along the back side of the room. They've got the 2 at the front. Marok's doing his 2 at the back. Are they going to do any extras, or are they going to leave it as it is? They're keeping that 3rd at the front, so that is completely now sealed off. I want to see Decay go to the back end of the room.
5 seconds left before insertion.
He's not doing. He's heading straight into blue. He is. He's going to do it from this side. Why is he doing it from that side? But either way, the result is the same. So they do completely seal off church with reinforcements from both edges. And that breach charge coming down in the hands of Blackbeard is not going to make its way in towards blue.
Yeah, we see they've sacrificed the reinforcement on top of stock drop hatch into that blue hall, and they've, like you said, they've utilized it to reinforce that last remaining wall inside of that garage corridor.
So, Brian this time around actually going to come in through the construction tunnel instead. That's the reinforcements that they chose to give up while doing the reinforcements on church instead. Not sure it's a trade I really agree with, if I'm completely honest.
And
there are ways to do the full church reinforcements while still doing construction and drop doors.
Yeah, Blackbeard saw Rook stay inside that doorway, prone right there. He should have moved up very quickly. He could have pre-fired that door and gotten the kill onto Rook, backed out, rotated around, come back through his normal pathway. But what we're going to see here, Brian will open up the wall just by 1 shot, and Rook's going to recognize that right away, tuck himself into that corner. Brian backs up from the drop hatch, or from that doorway, spotting to see is anyone going to be inside of the arsenal room in his line of sight. Capital's dropped into, I believe, that motorcycle room, if not in the, he's inside of the garage hallway. Gets on his drone and will call out Rook to Blackbeard. Blackbeard down to about 1 health after that tremendous attack by Primal. Rook does rotate underneath of the kitchen stairs now, or the kitchen floor into Arsenal. Sledge about to make his way into the Arsenal room right on the other side of Primal.
So Sledge and Capital both here inside blue. Primal is keeping his head down. He knows Brian's behind him. Does peek on up to take down the Hopak. Will be finished off by Max very quickly afterwards. In downing Hopak, he also managed to down Capital though, so that will be a revive there in half health. 4v3, but the health is very much in Epsilon's favor right now. Armor now firing in towards blue here, but Brian's going to push his way in from the tunnel and be quickly finished off by Meta, the 2nd man inside that armory room. Max will trade back onto Armor quickly afterwards, only it comes back to a 3v3, but Meta finally downs the Sledge. Cypher now still in here. He's got the diffuser, has to be careful, and he's on half health. Now Meta and Starzio are around. He doesn't know about Starzio, and that's going to pay the price. Suddenly becomes Tensaro versus the world. He's here in the bar dropper, comes on straight into church, starts to spray aggressively, doesn't know exactly where to look, and he's going to miss Takai with 2 the important shots, meaning that is map number 1 in the bag. 5 rounds to 3 for Epsilon.
Yeah, Epsilon taking that win strong. Again, never giving it another chance once they've secured that corridor by the cave. Once they killed Thermite there, they knew, hey, there's only one person there. We're going to have to focus our attention on 4-4. I'm sorry. It should be... Is it 4-4?
Is it? Epsilon were the guys that were a long way elite. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the team agrees with us. It's that's map 1. That's Oregon. That's Clubhouse in the book. 5 rounds to 3 in favor of Epsilon.
So Epsilon does take that win. We're going to move on to round 2, or match 2 on Oregon. But what we saw there was great gameplay by Epsilon. I mean, they held the Arsenal room. They were able to get Thermite off of that cave entrance. They moved over, focused their attention onto the garage hallway and also into church. And Ash was, I believe, last man standing after, I believe it was Sledge, who was downed and just stuck in armory by those ammo boxes. So the fact that you had Ash against the world, 1-on-3, I believe it was not looking good in ePunk's favor. And it was basically Epsilon's win. I mean, it was their game to lose. If they wanted to lose it, it was in their hands. It wasn't up to ePunks at that point.
Yep, and I mean, Epsilon, when realizing it was in their hands, what we'd nice to see is it took them a few rounds to do it, and it arguably is what made it as close as it was, but they finally readjusted and changed their defense a little way, which then threw ePunks in for 6 and gave them that round. If they had just done that same thing again, I feel we'd be in overtime right now. But having that round-to-round adaptation and having something up your sleeve for when that comes through is important, and they made sure they had that.
Yeah, and at the beginning of that round, we had talked about how ePunks needed to change up their attack. We didn't necessarily talk about how Epsilon needed to counter or change up their defense. But as you saw, both teams changed up their strategies for that last round, and it just so happened that Epsilon came out on top. ePunks pushed Thermite down cave by himself. You can open up that cave entrance, shove someone else down there, and utilize Thermite in another fashion. But what we saw there was great gameplay by both teams, and hopefully it's going to continue on into the second match here on Oregon.
Yep, so while we get the players back in the lobby and while we set things up for Oregon, our second map, we are going to run to a short commercial break with a little bit more information on those Pro League skins up on your screens as we settle in and get ready for map number 2. From that, what we saw, I'm going to have to still give this over towards Epsilon as I am leaning towards Epsilon, the stronger team. But ePunks have definitely got some things up their sleeves.
Definitely. I saw great aiming from both teams, but I've also seen some poor aiming on some of the rounds from some of the teams. So, again, it's not one way or the other, but if I had to pick someone, I'm leaning towards Epsilon as well.
All right, so we'll see you in a couple of moments here after this short commercial break with map number 2 between Epsilon and ePunks. It's going to be Oregon. It's going to be big. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the verge of being ready with Epsilon and ePunks for map number 2 on Oregon. Map number 1 was won by Epsilon 5 rounds to 3 after a little bit of back and forth, but ultimately quick change up to their strategy, giving them that last round in the back. Yep. Off stream, Rift Gaming played against U4X, our brand new squad, up against U4X, previously known as Chaos from last season, and Chaos showing that they are the more experienced, the more practiced team here on this stage, winning 5-0 and 5-2 on their maps. So that is in the back.
Yeah, and I feel like some of that might have been, like you said, the veteran versus the rookies in the Pro League. I know coming from the Pro League in Season 2, your first game, your first set of matchups that you're going against an already veteran pro team, you're hyped, you're not thinking straight, you're just so stoked that you're actually here in the Pro League. So I feel like that might have played a little bit into the league, or into the results. But nonetheless, veterans came out on top. As you said, 5-0 on the first map, 5-2 on the second map, giving U4X the 3-point lead there.
Yeah, exactly. So right now, U4X are currently top of the standings. They're the only team with a game in the books. They're only teams with those 3 points, and that's where they are. But Epsilon, of course, looking to close that gap and join them straight away. They are currently up 1 map to nothing, and now we're going to head towards Oregon. Primal just joins in, so let's get the load on going through. Talk to me quickly about this map. We've talked about how basement and dorms are the bomb sites to go to in the long run, but it's something that we've seen players try new things, maybe new bomb sites.
Yeah, so the two typical bomb sites that you'll see here are going to be the basement, the laundry room, and the stock room down there in the basement. Then you'll also see the top floor, which is going to be the kids' bedroom and the bunk beds area. Now, those are the typical bomb sites you'll see, but this map can allot for all 4 bomb sites. I believe all 4 bomb sites can be viable, but those top 2 that you do see are the ones that are typically going to be chosen just for the fact that they are the best chance for the defenders to win. But what I'm hoping I see here is going to be a play in the kitchen and the dining room. That's one of the bomb sites that I feel is borderline with the top bomb sites that you see here.
So we'll find out as they are starting down in the laundry and supply room. As no surprises there go Epsilon's defense. They are bringing a good old school roster to the defense as well, which still includes a pulse here. Now this is another bomb site which honestly I don't want to pulse on anymore. Since he's been changed, I would rather we bring Frost back in. The traps have already proved countless times to be great when holding this bomb site because of how tight and packed this front end can become, that players don't always have time to sit down and shoot frost traps on their way in, and a couple of pre-placed ones can really hinder an attack when it comes down to the last few seconds. Yeah. You get that close-range shotgun, which in this small bomb site is still useful after the change, and Pulse's just heartbeat sensor doesn't provide you any information you can't already get from the fact that there are just no ways to attack this site.
And I think if I were building my dream team for defense here, I would replace Pulse and Bandit. I would replace them with Frost and Mute in this case, because we already know from playing them on Clubhouse that neither of the teams brought a Thatcher, nor did they bring a Twitch. So you just place that Mute charge on those underneath of those drop hatches, and that's going to make a successful Mute use.
Except, and now I might get the admin poking me in the ear, but I'm pretty sure using the Thermite Breach here on this classroom wall to breach both the wall and the trapdoor all in one blow is not against the rules.
Gotcha.
Thus,
okay.
The Mute Jammer does not stop it.
You are correct. You are correct.
But we'll find out, as ePunks are already aggressively inside the garage with the form of Ash and Tensaro. She's now then droning, does catch that one member vessel on the top of the stairs. He is now backed on down, but as he sees the barbed wire inside meeting, he's going to have a suspicion now. There are people in there, and he's right. Both Meta and Stasio, Pulse and Bandit are playing inside the meeting hall with another aggressive defense start here. They also have Jaeger up in the back tower with an angle to the front end through to try and help them out.
Now, I like that angle Jaeger's holding because they're going to be getting in a meeting hall after they clear out Bandit and Pulse inside of there. But Jaeger's going to be that last resort. He's going to be that last push to potentially get that trade-off should Pulse or Bandit die.
Brian takes down Decay right in the back of the room, and Stasio will trade Brian out. So that's Blackbeard getting the 1 kill, but then immediately dying again himself. He does take down the Jaeger at the back before falling out. Cypher droning inside while Ash decides to go down towards construction and mix things up now that the front lobby is in their hands. This holds down towards the bottom of the stairs. Primal actually does get a bit of damage onto Cypher, but cannot make it stick or last.
So here we go. Thermite did open up, or he's going to be opening up this drop hedge eventually, but Pulse is still giving him a little bit of chaos as well as Bandit inside of that meeting hall. But they're going to rotate, work their way back downstairs. They've given up the top floor, that main floor. They've done their job. Now it's time to rotate down and await the onslaught that's about to ensue here in the next few seconds.
So let's go and just do the trapdoor. Blows it open successfully as they are now onto their last minute of the round. Tensaro is out from construction again and going into the back tower. Max has this other trapdoor now open for him here at the backside as well. Going to blow the barbed wire and actually misses it completely. Gonna have to throw another one down through and should get the wall at the same time. Tensaro is still cautious about anyone that might be flanking in towards the meeting room up from the stairs, but that's not going to be the case as Cypher is heading down in towards the bomb site itself.
And this is where Capital's incendiary arrows are going to come into play, close off of that main corridor, pushing back into the laundry room. And Cypher's going to try to get up there, but that smoke grenade is going to prevent him from that push. 20 seconds left on the round, a 4-on-4 still. Capital and Thermite pushing down the main stairs, and Thermite will get that diffuser off, but Capital will die by that smoke grenade. Does get injured as well as Thermite goes down, and that's going to be the defenders getting the win here with 5 seconds left to go in the round. The diffuser will not get down in time.
You may be speaking a bit too soon if Max gets that kill. Just hiding around the corner as a bandit. The smoke grenade is going way too far. Capital steps into it for no apparent reason. By going into that smoke, not only did he kill himself, he allows Meta and allows that pulse to push around the corner.
Yep.
And get the kill onto the plant before it's completed, which he could have been covering if he just stayed on the stairs and shooted for it. A lot of really weird decisions going on there for ePunks.
Yeah, especially like you called out that Capital push. All he had to do was just stand on the bottom of those stairs. He had the upper angle on the defensive team. The defense, when they come around that corner, they're not necessarily going to be looking. Their first line of sight's not going to be looking behind the laundry where Thermite was planting that diffuser. It's going to be on those stairs where you're going to have that cover, that typical cover the attackers are going to have. So he didn't need to move down behind the laundry basket. All he had to do was just stay on those stairs, and I think it was just poor judgment on his part on moving into that smoke, thinking that there was enough time.
Yeah, he did do a good job with his crossbow bolts, though. One into the corridor and then the smokes to cover it off as well. That helped keep distance for a little while, but by the time they'd run out, he then moved to the place he wasn't watching them. Now, as the defense goes for Epsilon, sorry, for ePunks rather, they are bringing themselves a Capcan in here instead of the bandit.
And we do see Valkyrie, who is just rotating and putting her drop hatches on, or her reinforcements on the drop hatches, throwing the cameras in places where hopefully they're going to last a long time, give a lot of information to the defensive team, and prove to be very useful. We do see her using that SPOS 12 again, and again, like we said earlier, it's not a shotgun has been removed from every single type of strategy, every type of gameplay. You're still going to have maps, especially this bomb site, where it does tend to get close quarters towards the end. You're going to see shotguns appear.
Capcan traps are going down nice and close to the objectives, meaning anyone that's in here is not going to be here for long, and they're going to have a very short space of time that they have to shoot those charges. In doing so, they may expose themselves to being shot in the side of the head or exposed. As Max just about catches Capital's heartbeat here, he will then immediately be taken down by the grenade that's thrown up underneath him. Hopak, though, takes out Maita, who is coming across to try and finish him off. He's now going to go for the revive. Stasio is close by, though. If he gets inside master bedroom at the right time, he might be able to pick off the pair of them. It's not going to be the case. He's going to play it slow and steady instead. He does see that shotgun waiting for him inside the master bedroom, and he does not want to take that fight.
He thinks better of it. Capital goes back to that balcony, but drops off and goes in through the garage entrance point potentially here.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Thermite with that diffuser will head into the lobby entrance and potentially blow that drop hatch. Although it looks like the attackers are going to rotate around, push their way in through the construction entrance. You've got Sledge, Capital, and Thermite following up the trail there. Blackbeard still leading, or still pushing back and causing some havoc on the outside of the master bedroom out there.
Downstairs, Brian's in red, has been taken out by the push coming up this end from Stasio. It's going to now start taking out the barbed wire. There's still 2 attackers on the top floor. Meanwhile, the pulse is down here, is taking a lot of damage, and now's that dropper in the front end been open. Stasio smoking out the corridor means Meta now has to think about how's he going to get around here, and now there's no crawl hole, so he's just got to spray through it. There's one Capcan trap taking out one, and Tansara gets a second with a second Capcan trap. Stasio and Armorock both walking into one each. The plant is in Primal's hands. He can't quite place it down yet. He's inside this small corridor, though, completely surrounded, and down he goes. Cypher has come down from upstairs, and now to K. He's at the front sight. He's on camera. Doesn't have to rush this. He's got 45 seconds. He can reload his main gun, but he just goes around the corner into the third and final Capcan trap. And that is ePunks holding their defense. A nice readjust from Epsilon to try a different push, but just a little bit too panicked and crazy at the end of it.
Yeah, and I think exactly what we talked about when we saw Capcom make an appearance on the last map on Clubhouse was those Capcom traps are going to be very useful when you force the attackers to speed up their gameplay, speed up their strategy, speed up their movements, because then they're not looking for it. Or if they do, it's already too late. They're already going through the doorway. Their momentum's taken them through that doorway already, or through that window. And Capcom had great placement there, not only on the selection of the doors to place the trap on, but on the side of the door, whether it's going to be the left or the right side or the inside or the outside of that door. So Capcom can place his trap in numerous spots around that door or window. And I think it was just great placement by all of those traps and forcing the attackers to increase their gameplay speed.
Epsilon going for a much more static, heavy defense this time around and using their C4 to destroy that cabinet early on. That is something which normally works in the defender's favor, having that impenetrable cabinet there. So we'll see what it is they have in mind to blow that apart.
Yeah, I'm kind of hard-pressed to see why they're blowing that portion of it instead of where we see iGamerz reinforcing. Typically, you'll have the defense open up that wall, at least in a crawl banner sense, so that you can get in and out of that middle bomb site.
Interesting indeed. So Takeo playing in Armory, Primal and Meta currently in the corridor, but Meta just putting down a couple of Capcan traps. Whilst there, Starsio inside A and Armor Rock at the stairwell.
So we do have Doc making an appearance here on defense, and he's going to be standing at the top of those back stairs, just holding on tight, waiting for a push to come from back there.
Cypher up on top of the B bomb site, just checking through the various different windows while Tansaro rotates around with him. See Meta in the back corner of the room. That fire's going to burn him. He actually used both bolts for that. He did waste the second one, but the kill's a kill, and Meta does drop down. Nothing he could do about getting away from that. They burn very, very hot, very, very fast, and it takes him down. Starsio now on the inside of this window that's being shot open by Cypher. Cypher, though, doesn't actually know how close he is to Starsio right now. Starts cracking open the other window as well.
And so this is where you got to be careful as an attacker. Unless you've cleared out the top of Meeting Hall, you're still very exposed. Cypher repelling here, you can see him looking over there. Thermite does get killed by Primal. Primal taking down that final kill. 4 on 4 now with just over half the round left to go in the match here. And Cypher now looking through the same window that he looked through before and got Capcom.
Activating drone. Deploying drone.
iGamerz still on these back stairs. Jaeger still inside of the bunk bed area, or those side dorms. And now we have Pulse who's underneath. Now Pulse is going to play a key role in this should the attackers get into the kids' room bunk bed area, because now he's able to use that device, shoot from the bottom up, and potentially get them as they're planting that diffuser.
Outside in the balcony, Primal's going to go, finds the repelling Cypher, misses the important shots and will lose his life for it. Max was above him. He had the right idea, but didn't have the aim, didn't have the reaction in time to see Cypher. And even if he had killed him, he was going down. It would have been nice to take the trade with him, but instead he goes down for free. Starsio will trade it back onto Brian, but now Armorrock's being pushed here by Max. Max cannot make it count, though. Neither of them can, in fact. A lot of shots missed. Tansaro comes in, takes Starsio out inside the B bomb site. Now is that under the attacker's control. They managed to take down Armorrock as well. Only Takei is left, and he's a shotgun Pulse now, running from a long way back. Goes through the small dorms, and he does find Max. Takes him down with the first shotgun blast, but he's very much low on ammo. Stops the reload as now 2 people are inside the kid's bedroom with this diffuser. Cypher grenading the doorway for him. He's going to throw the second one. Ashes at the far side of the room. He's got a crawl hole through to it, but Tansaro flicks around in time. Previously, that shotgun blast would have killed her, but not on this new patch. That one was not enough.
Especially when you're not ADSing with that shotgun. Now, I do believe, if I read the patch notes correctly, ADSing does increase that accuracy, so ADSing could have proved a different outcome for Pulse. But trying to hip fire, going back to those Season 2 strategies of just hip firing a shotgun aren't going to work here in this scenario.
So, aiming down sights does, as you say, lower the spread on the pellets, which would have meant perhaps more landing, more damage. Could have got him downed, but didn't have the time or the accuracy to do it. Went with the more hip fire spray instead and paid the price.
2 seconds left, and we're going to see Hopek actually being a recruit. Not quite sure if it was intentional or not, but I know sometimes it is a viable strat to utilize they recruit, and that's going to make them have 3 barbed wire, potentially for the stairwells leading down to the basement or potentially leading up top.
I think that sums up why it is what it is. Hopek disconnecting once more, having issues picking his operator, and as a result, well, we lost connection. That's interesting too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be a new one. We are going to have to try and figure out what's wrong with that one. We're going to run to another short commercial break while we get that done. As it is, we are currently
2-1.
2-1 to ePunks.
I believe ePunks was in the lead 2-1, and they successfully held the bottom bomb site.
Yeah, so they held the bottom bomb site, and they successfully attacked the top bomb site, which is
Correct.
the first choice there for Epsilon. So
it's going to be some great continuing gameplay to hear once we get back in just a moment. But kind of what I'm seeing is some great plays by the attackers. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's going to lead into here in the future. But for now, we're going to go on a quick commercial break, guys. Stick around, and we'll be right back.
Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. We have our players back in the lobby. We have Oregon back underway. 2 rounds to 1 in favor of ePunks, and they are now on to defense. Epsilon looking to attack, and they are about to attack the same bomb site they just lost. Upstairs go the ePunk defenders into the kids' dorm and the dorm's main hall as their bomb sites. So a very static defense coming out from the Epsilon squad, running a 3 armor setup in Capcan, Doc, and Rook. But this time around, ePunk's going for something a little bit more mobile.
Yeah, we still are going to see that Capcom though, but Mute makes an appearance here on the top bomb site instead of the bottom, which is what I was expecting earlier. So that top bomb site's going to be very useful for Mute in the sense that
Attackers need to
the
locate and defuse
Mute
as
devices
many
are going to
bombs
be
as they
great
can.
to stop the drones from coming in through that main hall, as well as dropping in and coming in through the windows. A lot of windows on this top bomb site.
So there's a more traditional rotate hole, C4 hole made between the small dorms and the A bomb site. As it is, we have that Mute now into the mix that you were asking about for defense, and ePunks so far yet to put down any Mute. Currently dropping them down at the top of the staircase, making sure drones don't come up there. I imagine one there in the small dorms by the walking closet so they can't breach in.
5 seconds left.
Wait and see.
Attackers have located the bomb.
He did the reinforcements, charge down.
Looks as though Jaeger's going to be playing in the bottom of the red tower, staying around there, just waiting for the peek from the construction entrance. Typically, you're not going to see many attackers enter in through down here, but it does look like Matea will,
Drone activated.
who does have the diffuser, and that's Twitch, I believe that is that. No, I'm sorry, that's Ash that has the diffuser out there.
Ash, and I believe he did drone Cypher too. Maybe he came off his drone and starts ADSing his way towards
Attackers
the tunnel.
dropped the diffuser.
Goes up somewhere to drop the diffuser safe and is now looking to head on forward as it is though. Armor picks up the first kill onto Brian. That's Capcan taken out of the picture. Primal's drone is heading towards construction. Is going to come in behind Cypher.
Twitch did take quite a hit there from that engagement, down to, I believe, five, maybe 1 health left. But Jaeger's going to backtrack, come back up through that red tower after getting droned by Primal.
Twitch jumped off a roof to get herself revived. And we'll be back up with 50 health in just a moment. Cypher now running away from this drone and looking towards the garage door for a little bit more
Attackers
of
have recovered their
an
diffuser.
impact in this round right now. But it's not quite the case, as he's still just running around in this tower. Wasting the time of the attackers, yes, but as they are down on a defender already, it could just be on Epsilon here to just go for a hard push
Attackers
on
drop the
towards
bomb
the
diffuser.
objective and just nullify Cypher's position by making him irrelevant.
Yeah, so you saw Cypher do it there. He came back to his original location where he got droned out of. The attackers now feel comfortable. They think that they've droned him out. They've pushed him out back into meeting hall, possibly back up to the bomb site. But on the contrary, Jaeger was able to play that time correctly and go around. Now we're going to have Twitch downing Stazo, and that's just going to be so he can be picked back up with 50 health left. And there's still just over a minute left to go in the round as it's a 5-on-4. Jaeger's still
Already Epsilon in, Cypher now taking down one man, so his room has finally become relevant. He gets that kill there on Tomato. Ash is taken out of the picture. The Hermite though, he's inside the walk-in wardrobe and he's going to start breaching this wall in towards the mini tower, or at least giving it a shot. Still Mute jammed. It's trying to spray into Armory because they know Max is in there, but there's nothing the Blackbeard can do about it until outside. Cypher goes to the back tower and Decay kills him off. Blackbeard is still inside. They are trying to find this pulse. He knows he's in the corner. There's the spray. Inside comes Blackbeard, but the Capcan trap picks up a kill onto Starzio. Blackbeard's the last man standing as Hoppack and Max were able to easily get 2 kills of their own at those players, putting all their attention towards construction. And Hoppack playing that shotgun as close as he can towards the doorway means it's an easy kill for him onto Blackbeard.
Great job by ePunks there. I believe it is now 3-1. ePunks taking the lead, kind of changing it around from what we saw last round on Clubhouse, where it was 3-1 Epsilon taking the lead. So, as we saw there, that Valkyrie shotgun still a viable weapon to use, especially at that close range and especially against a Blackbeard.
So, ePunks stretch their lead ever so slightly here to 3-1, and are now on to attack once again. Epsilon going to go downstairs for their defense, and they are bringing the Mute this time with no pulse. So, as you expect, we'll see that jammer exactly where you wanted it to be, up here on top of the desk. And down follow in a moment. They do make a nice big rotate hole between bomb sites again, as they do start to begin placing all of their...
Yeah, and so that Mute charge right there, which we've talked about numerous times today so far, is going to prevent a typical thermite charge from opening up that breach hatch. Now, whether or not they can do that wall explosion for the breach charge, we'll see if that encounters. But Mute, that's one of his 3 devices. He's still going to have, or one of his 4 devices. He still has 3 left to use. Now, what I've seen some teams utilize is they know a Thatcher might be in the mix here, so they're going to keep on it. They're going to keep Thatcher, they're going to keep Mute on that table, and he'll place a Mute charge down one after another if Thatcher blows it. But seeing as how there is no Thatcher, he can place those other Mute devices elsewhere and make them even more effective.
Also note how they C4'd this wall next to the hatch, so the thermite cannot place his charge on there, so the mute jammer will be effective now. So that chest door is going to be a pain to open up, but what they do have on the attacking team here is Brian. They have a Blackbeard who could be downstairs and shoot the jammer
A bomb has
if they
been
really,
located.
really want to push that in. But he needs to make sure he stays alive up this backside first, because he is pushing aggressively in through red and blue. And even as a Blackbeard, there is a chance that he could get taken out.
Attackers have
There's
located
batteries and
bomb.
mute jammers all the way along the edge, but he is going to breach his way into red. So a nice angle in, but the reinforcements here for the defending team are actually helping him get towards this doorway a little bit safer. Team coming back in the back tower and firing in, keeping Stasio pinned in that corner. Ledge, however, is very, very low ever since. He cracks that door open, and Stasio is again pinned in.
Ash is pushing in, but does cross Bandit's line of sight. And Stasio will have to get that shot off if he wants to get the round here. But Sledge, down to about 1 health. Blackbeard's going to push here into that closet, or into that storage area in just a moment, where Ash is already securing. He now knows that someone's tucked underneath of that drop hatch, and Brian is just going to stay there watching that until Bandit decides to make a move. There's no reason to make that push on him just yet.
He's going to try and prone his way out again, but doesn't go all the way. Brian's watching closely over. The smoke grenades are coming off. Flashbang's going down. He's still unsure about it. Comes around the corner, does get downed, but is surviving it. Brian's coughing through a little bit more of the smoke. There's still a minute and a half on the clock, which is a long time, but it's about to get shorter as Mute picks up the kill onto Hoppack. Gets across the gap and he's going to manage to revive Starzio now as well. No grenades here on Blackbeard, of course. He can get through and he gets back out alive too, but now he walks straight into the firefight that's waiting for him. Smoke kills Santaro, but they have downed Meta. That's a down kill for Brian. They're down at the front end of the site. Jaeger comes around. Brian runs out of ammo, and that's going to be an easy down afterwards. Capital pushing the backside is fighting Primal, but gets down. Max is the last man standing, and he won't be up for long. Epsilon finally back in the groove of things, lining up kill after kill. A lot of down players, not so many finished off. But ultimately, everyone just started to crunch together at the right time.
Yeah, it was a kill after a kill after a kill. What I would like to have seen Blackbeard do, though, was make a push into that storage area that he already blew up once he saw Mute transfer over and try to pick up and revive his own teammate. I mean, you know that's what Mute's going over to do. You know he's going to try to do it as quick as possible. So Blackbeard should have taken that opportunity, moved in, because Ash was still covering the side, his flank from behind inside of that blue garage door, or the blue construction entrance. So would have liked to have seen Blackbeard do that, would have taken down Mute, and
Attackers
even
need to
potentially
locate and defuse
Bandit.
bombs.
So it would have been a two-man swap as opposed to just trading it off.
So ePunks back down into the basement as the scoreline goes back to a 3-2. Cap, not so different.
Bomb located by attackers.
And now
What we do see here, though, is Capcom making an appearance once again, as I would expect him to after getting those 3 Capcom traps explosion, those Capcom kills before. So, very intrigued to see if the attackers are going to fall for it again. But I think what came into that was the fact that the attackers had one plan in motion. They readjusted, they realigned what they wanted to do, came in through another way, being that bottom construction entrance, and forced something that they hadn't already planned out. They had to go with it on the fly, and that's what cost them a round.
Wall secured!
cameras being set up again. Hoppack can put a lot of them in the similar places they did before because they weren't found. They are now running a lot of players on the top floor again. Max here in Armory once more. Hoppack running up the far end in towards kids, just place a couple more cameras down and then comes back to the walk-in wardrobe. And Cypher is going down the back stairs, but is also very easily able to rotate up there if needed.
And this is going to be a one-man on-site, Capcom being the only one there. If the attackers were to realize that, push in from the bottom, it could be devastating for the defenders.
Upstairs, Meta comes in through the window, now drops down through the trapdoor after tagging Cypher up very low, but taking no damage in return. Meanwhile, downstairs, Capitao killed the camera right in front of Cypher, and he missed the pre-fire, but now they knew roughly where he was. Twitch has taken down Brian, and now inside, Hoppack has been finished off by Starzio as well. Cypher's looking to challenge him, but Cypher's not got the health for it. Will go down at the same time. Twitch grabbed up another kill in the front side, and it is all on Capcan. Now, last time around, he got a lot of trap kills. Maybe he needs them again.
Time to make a new
I would
the
very much like to see that, but the drop hatch above him will get picked off. Still a ton of time, almost 2/3 of the round remaining. As it's a 5-on-1, the attackers just need to play it smart. There's no need to push him over aggressively. Yes, you're a 5-on-1, but it's still a player alive on the enemy team.
Attackers recovered the bomb
Flashbang's
diffuser.
coming down in towards where Tensara is sitting. They haven't droned in, but they're going to have an idea of where it is by now. There's not many places he can go.
So Tansara just sitting down here in the bottom of the laundry storage. You see Capital at the drop pad just watching, as well as, I believe, Twitch is up there. Smokes go in, and Capital goes for the push. Blackbeard is there to make that final kill onto him, giving the Epsilon the tie, I believe 3-3 right now.
Yeah, he went in, tried to pre-fire the plant spot. He thought that the diffuser was going to be in. Instead, it was on the right-hand side behind the laundry boxes instead. So he just gets picked off by a nice prone, waiting Blackbeard there at the far side of it, before we now head into, as you say, the evened up scoreline of 2-2. Remember, Epsilon are already one map up, having one clubhouse. All they need is to get this one, and they can get themselves all 3 points, which, while ePunks gave them a little bit of a run for their money, they're coming back.
And we are going to see Cypher picking the Capital at the last second there. But what we have not seen before, that I'm looking forward to, is going to be, I'm sorry, we have seen Doc here before. Doc was playing on this top bomb site last time, at the stairs where he's reinforcing that wall right now. So, last time I believe he was killed by someone inside of the B bomb site through the hallway and ultimately got killed. Wonder if he's going to be sitting in the same exact spot, or if he's going to rotate around and just play a little bit differently so that the attackers don't realize it and try to make a same move.
Right now, they do once again destroy that cabinet here between the sites and then reinforce the connecting wall. They have a nice little reinforced tunnel where Doc's going to sit, but then a big ass hole into
5
it
seconds remaining.
from the attic.
We see that same setup from before. Again, we did see Doc get that wall reinforced, but the closet, or I'm sorry, the shelving was blown once again. And I didn't see that play too much of a useful role for the defenders. If anything, I think it might have hurt them.
Yeah. Right now I just see someone on a window, someone coming up these back stairs, and then someone coming in through the attic below this wall. And you can sit in the attic, look all the way through that gap that Armrock just made. In fact, that's Armrock. Free headshot on the back of his head.
Yep.
So we'll wait and see.
So Cypher will be outside of the window, by, I believe that was Bandit inside of that bedroom. And that does get opened up. They're going to be pushing from there eventually. Not right at the start. They might put a couple ghost shots, a couple bullets through there, just giving a little pressure. But getting that window open is going to be key to forcing the defenders to be aware of all of their surroundings.
Same. Capital still just watching that corner where he knows armor up to B. Brian's coming through the back tower. Careful that he flanks them every coming their way as Max is pinning Pulse here inside the armory spot.
Yeah, Pulse stuck inside the armory, Sledge rotating around to the other side window underneath the camera, and Pulse does recognize it, uses his device, spots him, but doesn't get the kill on him. Down to about 60 health. And Amarok does pick up the kill onto Thermite. That's going to be a great kill, but a team kill causes ePunks to lose another of their players. Rook does get revived from Doc, who shoots him with a device, picking him back up to 75 health, and it's going to be a third attacker getting killed. Brian not ready to let go yet. He does kill 2 of the Epsilon members.
But because so many people are dead now, Bandit is allowed to come up behind that Capital on the roof. And it's all down to Blackbeard now. Maita getting up there with the flank. He's now running around on this floor. He's going to run around straight into the right corner with Blackbeard. Tries for the knife, but the Bandit, the MP7, wins out. Fire rate too quick. Just going for that shot instead of the knife.
And that's Epsilon turning that 3-1 deficit into a 4-3 lead right now. All they need is one more to secure this match and secure a 2-0 win against ePunks here tonight. So
5 rounds to 3 was the score on the first map.
Yep.
As you just said, if Epsilon win this one, they're going to do it again as well. 5 rounds to 3 here on the second map. If they can pull it off, they've just won quite a few rounds on the trot.
We do see the defensive team picking that laundry room and supply room again, that bottom bomb site, which is going to give the defensive the best opportunities to secure their site. But whether or not it's going to prove useful is going to be up to ePunks, and it's going to be up to the rest of this round.
So, they are on defense. That helps them a little bit. They're down in the basement.
Bomb located by attack.
Just brought C4 to the, barbed wire to the table instead of C4.
I believe what they're going for is that slow push. or that quick push towards the very end. When the attackers are going to be forced to make a rush, they're going to run into these barbed wire scenarios at the bottom of the main stairs. I'm sure they're going to put some at the bottom of the back stairs, potentially in that construction hallway. And it's going to make it for a heck of a time for the attackers to get in, should they not have any ash breaches or nades.
Yeah, but this is one of the beautiful bomb sites where you hold a C4 until the bomb goes down on top of that little laundry spot, and it's just C4. And then that's round, that's game over, that's free. But
yeah, they're getting rid of...
the only C4 is here on Hoppack, and last time he used it to stop the breach at the front end.
Yeah, now that I'm re-looking at the defensive side, they don't even have a smoke. They have one individual with a tossable projectile, and that's going to be the one C4, but that's it.
Aggressively peeking the front door, managed to pick up an early kill here to help out ePunks with their campaign to continue. They are now 5v4.
And Jaeger's going to get up on top of the meeting room here, looking to see if anyone's going to be on top of the roof, not seeing a single person, so he's just going to sit and listen for a little bit now. Paul's playing underneath of him in the majority, or in the main section of the meeting hall. Now, he did get a kill earlier, so they are going to be aware that there are some lurkers. Valkyrie does hop down from meeting hall as well, and inside of the main entrance, Capital, I believe, or Capcom, is going to be on those back stairs. I'm sorry, in the underneath launch.
So thermite charge goes off, and they do blow open that trapdoor. Max is inside the meeting hall, and Thermite says bye-bye. Peeks around, he's already on the head. Primal picking up the first kill for the attacking team. Still don't realize the Cypher's in here as well, but Matrix now going to start breaching her way on Ash inside on site. Which means Cypher coming from this side is going to be a little bit of a tough spot. Comes around, and it's an easy kill for Maita there, pre-firing already. Does go down to half health, but she's dead all the same. Jaeger now out of the picture. It means Hoppack is going to come back downstairs and join his team with Tensaro's Capcan and Brian's Rook.
Just over 1:15 left to go in the round. It is a 4-on-3, and the push is going to come here in probably about 30-40 seconds. Thermite did get that drop hatch open successfully. Ash does still have one last charge left to blow. And she is going to be a viable operator to push towards the back should they need to, and should that be part of their strat. But what I expect to see from her is going to be just a view from the back. She does spot Valkyrie, though, and picks up the kill. Now it is a 4-on-2. 50 seconds left to go in the round. Epsilon wins this. They win it all.
They do get the good kill onto Ash up through the hole, though. 45 seconds. The plant is going down to the front edge. Primal gets it off. Now Brian and Tensaro have got to go and retake in a 2v3 situation. One above, two downstairs. Decay's on the stairs very, very low. Primal jumps across the gap and takes a lot of damage. In fact, gets downed by Brian, making it 2v2. Armorok still upstairs. Brian a little bit cautious here as they do know that Blackbeard's on the stairs. He comes around the corner and gets downed by him. And there's an easy second kill there for Twitch to finish off Tensaro on Capcan. Give Epsilon the win and the second map.
Goes to Epsilon 2-0, taken both.